Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and my craft table. And if you're new here, my name is Jen. I'm really glad to meet you. I am so excited about today's video. This, guys, is a 100% cotton t-shirt, and this design is sublimation. How did I make this happen? Well, A-SUB sent me over some Sublimation HTV and sublimation paper to try out and share with you my honest feedback. And so I thought I would make a hiking shirt for an upcoming trip. And oh my goodness, not only did it work, but it worked amazing. So let's go ahead and hop down to the craft table and let me show you how I put this together and how easy it is for you to make one too. Okay, before we jump into the project, let me share with you the materials and supplies I'm going to be using today. So I have this blue, I love this color. It's like a teal blue. I don't know how it's showing up on camera, but it is like a teal blue, almost more like a Tiffany blue. Anyway, this is 100% cotton. Now I have washed and dried this already. I tend to do that with all of the materials that I use for my iron-on crafts that are wearable, because I want to make sure that any shrinking has happened before I put the project together. So here we go. This is 100% cotton. I do have a lint roller, heat-resistant tape. I have my scissors. And then I have the materials. Now, this right here is sublimation paper. A-SUB, they sent over in that package with the printable magnetic sheets and the mug size sublimation paper. They sent this as well. This is just printable, printer paper for your sublimation printer. And it is 8.5 by 11. There is 110 sheets in here. And it comes really well sealed in this bag, and I'm excited to try this brand out. Up to now, I've used a different brand for my sublimation paper, and it has worked just fine, as you all know if you've been around on my channel. But I'm very excited to use this because from what I gather from other makers and my online research, A-SUB is a really big player in the sublimation market, and they're just like a premium brand, I guess you could say. So this is very exciting to me. So on the back, it gives you some tips, gives you some instructions, and then it has some suggested transfer instructions. So the blank you're using, the temperature to use, the time, and the pressure. And it talks about storing the product. It is for sublimation ink only, so you can't just send this through your inkjet printer and use your regular ink. That will not work. Home irons are not recommended. I will be using my Cricut Easy Press today, and the large clamshell press that I have in the other room is, I'm kind of reorganizing that room. So I'm just going to use my Cricut Easy Press too, and that's what we're going to use for this. Also, to pair with this is what the design is actually going to get printed on. And then this is sublimation heat transfer vinyl. So this is white, and just like any other white HTV, I will be sending this through my Cricut. It will cut out the design all on here. It won't be like a print and cut. This was actually just cut the design outline. And then this is going to go down on the shirt first. So we will mirror our image. We'll cut it out on the vinyl. We'll put this on the shirt first. And then this right here will be cut using print and cut on the Cricut as well. And then this will get pressed on top of here. That's basically the general idea. And the best part is that this will turn my 100% cotton t-shirt into a sublimation blank. So I'm so excited about that. Enough of my talking. Let's go ahead and head into design space, get our image ready for print and cut, and then we will get all of this cut out using the Cricut and then onto the shirt. All right, here I am in Design Space, and I'm going to show you how I put together the image that we put on the shirt using the sublimation paper and the Sublimation HTV. So the very first thing that I want to do is I'm going to come over to Images, and I'm going to click on this icon right here, the filter. I want to come down to Bookmarked, then I can collapse that. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to look for my hiking boot, which is right here. And then I'll scroll down a little further because I need to find the image that I put under it. So it will be that one. And let's collapse that menu. Okay, so we're going to ignore the little warnings for right now. We don't really need them. But I do need to blow up my canvas a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Also, as a side note, the background color I chose is gray, and that will allow us to be able to see some of the features that I'm going to be working with. Normally, the canvas will have an outline color, a background color of white, and you can tell that that's a little bit harder to see some of the things. I just changed it to gray. The other thing is the grid lines are not visible. So up here in this top corner, if I click on this little box 3 times, I can just scroll through. We have the smaller boxes, we have large grid lines, and then we have no grid lines. Let's duplicate our boot. And when I do that, I'm going to come up here to Basic Cut, and I want to go all the way down to the bottom and click on Guide. And what that's going to do is that's going to make this be an image that I can use to slice out over here. So I want this watercolor image to turn up on my boot. So I'm going to come over here and just bring it to the picture that's there. Now it is behind. So I can come up to the pen. I can go down to Arrange, and I can say Bring to Front, and collapse that menu. So then I can resize it or just move it kind of wherever I want. It doesn't really matter. But there we go. I think that's about what I did before. So I would select both of them, come down to the bottom of the Layers panel and click on Slice. And now I'll have 3 things instead of 2. I'm going to have the guide, which I can get rid of. I'm going to have the boot right here. And then I will have this leftover image, which I'm going to delete. I don't need it anymore. Then actually, I don't even need this anymore. I don't know why I duplicated it. I could have just turned it into a guide to begin with. I want to make this bigger, and notice that the warning came on. That means it's a little too big for the print and cut. So I am going to click the corner and size it down until I get no warning. And actually, if you click on that, you can have it auto resize for you as well. So that's another option. All right, so I have this here. Let's blow this up a little bit. Okay, so now that I have this boot here, let me resize it down a little bit because we'll worry about the size in a little bit. I want you to see what I'm going to do. If I were to print and cut right now, all of these little interior pieces would want to cut out. So I'm going to create an offset for this. I'm going to click on the boot, then I will click on the pen, and let's bring this in so we can see what we're doing here. I'm going to go to Offset, and I want to make this as small as possible. So I think 0.08, let's try 0.08. Okay, so right here you can see that it's still connected, and that's the main one that I was looking at. Next, I'm going to hit Apply, and then the offset becomes like a charcoal color. So I need to do 2 things. I need to change it to a white. So I'm going to come in here, click on the color box and click on white. Then I'm going to come down to contour down here, and I want to hide all contours. So just like that, click Apply, and now I have a solid white image. So before I flatten them together, I'm going to take this offset and I'm going to duplicate it, and then I'm going to move it out of the way. So this will represent the Sublimation HTV that I will be cutting out with my Cricut. The original offset and the boot, so these two here, I'm going to click on those and I want to flatten them. All right, so there we go. And then I'm going to bring this back over here. Let's group it together. Let's align it to center. That means it'll put it exactly on top of each other where it needs to go. Collapse that. Let's group this. So what I want to do now really quickly before I ungroup it all is I want to size it. I'm going to come down here to layouts. I'm going to click on t-shirt, adult large, and collapse. So you can see here, this is my template for a t-shirt. I'm going to grab the boot. Everything's been grouped together, so this is going to resize all at one time. I'll move it into this top left corner of my template, and I'm just going to pull it up like so. And I do get a warning, so that's okay. Let's take a look and see what the warning says. And it says the image is too large for 8.5 by 11 paper. The max size is 7.88 by 7.44. Leave it grouped together and then come over here. The sizing was 7.88 and 7.44. So I'm going to come up here to my sizing, 7.88 and 7.44. Notice as soon as I changed the width that the height automatically changed, and then I'll do the same thing for the offset, 7.88. It automatically sizes to the 7.44. Okay, so now my image is all sized, ready to go. Go to the group and ungroup it. Okay, so everything has been sized and created it the way I want. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the template for the t-shirt and I'm going to delete that. I no longer need it. I'm going to select one of the offsets and I'm just going to bring that out here to the side. This will be that Sublimation HTV. Then I'm going to click on these other two images. That's the slice result with the image coloring and then the offset. Just for good measure, I'm going to come over to the pen. I'm going to go to align and I'm going to go to center just to make sure. Then I will come down to the bottom of the layers panel and I will click flatten. Now this is one layer. This will print out just like this. It will have the blue imaging and then it'll have all of this white behind it. And that makes it very cohesive. And then the Cricut will cut out around these edges. It won't cut down here in the middle part, which is what I like to have. So I have the sublimation paper image here and the sublimation HTV image here. Then when I go to the make screen, you'll see here where I've got one image on each of the two different mats. And this one is hard to see because the paper is white and the image is white. All right, let's head over to the overhead camera. We will get everything printed and cut and pressed onto the t-shirt. Okay, so this is what my image is going to look like. I'm going to go ahead and click on mirror because what's going to happen is my sublimation printer will mirror it again. And I'm going to click continue. I need to send it to my printer. I'm going to click on use system dialog and I'm going to take off of the bleed. I'm going to go to print. And then when my dialog box comes up, I'm going to go to preferences. I'm going to click paper type. I'm going to do general purpose textile. I'm going to do standard. I'm going to change it to high. Okay. And then again, my printer automatically mirrors anything that it prints out. So I'm going to click OK. Okay. So this is what it looks like. And I'm going to go ahead and click print. Okay. This is going to go to my sublimation printer. Okay, so here is my printout. Now when this gets cut out, in theory, it goes down like this. Okay, so it'll still be in the right direction with the toe over here. Now normally this little arrow is in this top corner over here. And I don't think that actually is going to make a difference. I think it's just a matter of they want the top of your paper to be this way. So I'm hoping that isn't a big deal. Let's put this onto our mat. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the top left corner like I always do. And then push that down. I'm going to grab my brayer here. Okay. And I'm going to brayer this down really good. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to open my Maker 3. Okay, we're going to put this here. This just kind of keeps the mat from slipping down. And I'm going to remove my glass mat for a moment. Okay, all right, so we're going to bring this in. Now I just need to make sure that when I hit print or when I hit cut that the image on the screen is in the same direction. So when I look at it, it looks like this, which matches my mat. Okay, and then this is paper, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'll do medium cardstock. Let me do light cardstock. Okay, then I'm going to hit the flashing arrow. It'll load it, it'll scan everything, and then when ready, I'll press the play button. Okay, this is done. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the arrow. Before I do that, I'm just going to double check, make sure that that's a perfect cut. Okay, now I'll hit the arrow and pull this out, set that off to the side, and then we can work on getting our vinyl cut out. So here is my strong grip mat. Here is the HTV. Now, according to these directions, it says find the cutting side, and the cutting side is on the inside of the roll, and the iron-on side is the shiny side. Okay, so it says shiny side down and matte side up on the directions that I printed from the website. Okay, and take this off, set that off to the side. And then we're going to get this onto here. I'm going to line up the corners. Very nice. All right, go ahead and brayer that down really, really well. Okay, so for mat number 2, I have the Sublimation HTV down on my mat, and I am going to make sure that it is mirrored. So when I click that, okay, it does tell me to mirror the design before cutting. So that is done. Then I want to do everyday iron on. And let me double check, it is mirrored. All right, I'm gonna do more pressure. And I'm going to send this through the Cricut. And before I ever unload my mat, I'm gonna make sure that it does cut. All right, all cut. So let's go ahead and move this over to the side. And then I'm going to take this off our mat. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my scissors, and I want to cut off the area that I'm not using. I can save that for another project. Okay, and then we're going to weed off everything we don't need. So basically all of the white space around the boot is going to come away. All right, there is our Sublimation HTV. Next, I'm going to bring in my t-shirt, and I'm going to press this. I'm going to press this first just to kind of remove some of these wrinkles, and then I will put a center crease down the middle with my press and lint roll it. This is such a pretty color. I wish they had had a smaller size, but they didn't. And I was worried about when the cotton shrinks, so not a big deal. Now that's like the first initial press. I do want to put a center crease down the middle. This will help me with centering. Nice and neat on there. I tell you what, I do love the size of that press because it makes for ironing an entire shirt very quick. All right, so I'm gonna lint roll. Okay, here is my shirt, here is my boot, and my center line is like right down here. So I'm just going to place this kind of where I think I want it to be. And then I'm gonna grab my little tape measure that I use for sewing. And I am placing this about 2.5 to 3 inches from the top. I guess it depends on where you're looking. There we go. The top is relatively level. It's not going to be perfectly level. I think that is going to be in the right place. It looks like it's in the right place. So I'm going to grab my heat press. We're going to press this for 365 degrees Fahrenheit, 185 degrees Celsius. We're going to do that for about 15 seconds. And then we'll be peeling off this carrier sheet. So I have my press here. Okay, and I will hit my button. Okay, there's our button. Okay, this is very, very warm, so you definitely want to be careful. So it says peel off the carrier sheet carefully. I can kind of see why, because it's hot. So I'm going to just very carefully pull this off. This is coming off like butter, by the way. All right, so here's my boot. This is going to be flipped over like this. Okay. It's very warm. Before I do that, I'm going to grab some heat transfer or heat resistant tape. I'm going to get a couple of pieces of this. That way I can use it to keep my boot in place. Yeah, so basically I don't want my boot to shift after I put it on. Now the white offset of my design and the white offset or the white vinyl basically kind of cancel each other out. I'm more concerned with the blue. Okay, after we get this all taped down, I'm going to put my Teflon sheet on top. This time we're going to do 365 degrees Fahrenheit for 60 seconds. So I'm going to change my time to 60 seconds. Okay, still at 365. Okay, and then it is a hot peel. So we're going to put this straight down. Okay, there's our beep. I'm going to lift straight up. Okay, then we can remove the Teflon sheet. And again, everything is hot, so be very mindful not to burn yourself. And then I'm going to pull up some of this tape, and I'm just going to pick this up with my weeding tool just to see. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is the greatest thing ever. Let me move all this tape and then I will show you. Holy cow, this is fantastic. Watch. I'm going to pull up the paper. First of all, it pulled all the ink off of my paper. You can see the texture of my t-shirt through the print out. Look at that. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. That is a sublimated image on a t-shirt that is 100% cotton. I am totally taking this to Bryce Canyon in November. This is gorgeous. I love it. Maybe I'll make a couple for my hiking besties. This is fantastic. Okay, this is very warm, so I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to let this cool for a minute, and then I want to talk to you about not only how the design turned out, but I want to talk to you about some tips and things that next time I do this, I'll just be very mindful about remembering certain things. So I want to make sure that you know those as well. All right, my crafty friends, this was such a surprise success. I was very nervous the entire time. I was so worried that I was going to mess it up or something, and it just turned out so beautiful. I absolutely love this. And it really gave me an idea for a little gift for the hiking trip in November. So every year, my mom and sisters, we go on a hiking trip in November. And I think what I'm going to do is use some of this to sublimate on some little zipper pouches, all the different parks that we've gone to so far, and maybe some kind of little hiking logo. But look at this. This is amazing. I am so impressed with how this came out. And I love it because I can wear it, you know, all the time. And I don't have to have a polyester shirt. I can have a cotton shirt in whatever color I like. This is a game changer. So this is super, super, super amazing. I'm just very shocked. I was really worried that it wasn't going to work. And wow, this really, not only does it work, it works really well. Okay, so here's a few of the tips that I would say to remember if you're going to try this for yourself. Number one, this A-SUB material here, this did not disappoint. Absolutely fantastic. I would say find or create an amazing design, either in Cricut Design Space or in Canva. Make sure it's something that you're going to love. Follow the directions exactly. And you can find the directions. I mean, the simple directions are here on the edge of the package. So it is user-friendly. I also printed out some information off of the website from A-SUB, and I think that this is handy, and I'll be keeping that in here. Definitely something to keep in mind is that you can't use regular HTV to do this. It must say Sublimation HTV in order to do this, which means you do need sublimation ink in your sublimation printer. This paper is key. So this is where your design is printed and cut. So that would be the print then cut portion. This would be cut out from your Cricut or whatever machine you're using. This is the HTV vinyl piece. And when you put them together, you get this. You do have to mirror both the designs, the print and cut design and the vinyl design before cutting. And I think that's what I was most nervous about, was just making sure that it was in the right direction and that it was going to match up correctly. Wash dry before you do this, pre-press, lint roll. The Teflon sheet is really important when you go to put the design on top. Your heat resistant tape, that is really important to help it to not shift. So that's what I would say is the most, is just watch the things that you need to mirror. Make sure that you're using sublimation ink, that you are using the heat resistant tape and a Teflon sheet when you're doing the pressing. And it is a hot peel for both of them, but holy cow. Y'all, this is so vibrant. This transfers full color. This is very soft. There's no, like, I don't want to say it's in the fibers like sublimation would, but there's no raised edge. This is awesome. I absolutely love this. So fantastic. I cannot stress this. I'm just really in shock. This is awesome. All right, well, enough of me not finding my words. I've been thinking of this design for a while and I wasn't really sure how I was going to do it. This was kind of what I was wanting to do. This product allowed me to do it. I am so over the moon with how this turned out. I am just very impressed with this particular product right here. I guarantee you that not only will I continue to use the A-SUB brand paper. It was super awesome, but this is a game changer. So there's a lot of crafts and ideas that I can now bring to life with this Sublimation HTV. Okay, well, I hope you found this video was informative and helpful, especially if you do have a sublimation printer. If you don't, I will link the one that I have down in the description below so you could start researching to see if it's something that would be a good fit for your craft room. I will also have a link to these materials and supplies that I used today. This is fantastic, so I'm very excited to share this with you today. Don't forget to leave me a comment and let me know what kind of materials, craft, or technique you'd like to see coming to the channel. Also, if you made it this far, leave me some sort of little hiking emoji. You can leave a hiking boot. I know they have that. And until I see you in the next card or craft, as always, have an amazing day and happy crafting.
Thank you all so much for watching today. I'm so glad that you can join me at my craft table. If you're not already, I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you'll know when new videos arrive. Have a great day, and as always, happy crafting.